Evelyn Robinson. My early years in St. Paul was on Broad Street with Reverend Coles. And that's when I came into St. Paul Baptist Church. And then with Reverend Coles, I sang on the gospel chorus and the senior choir. And I enjoyed myself singing on the choirs. I thought I could sing, but I couldn't sing. I just enjoyed singing. So I sang on every choir and enjoyed myself. And after St. Paul on Broad Street, I marched in outside to this church. Lined up out in front of this church. And then we marched in and we stood, the deacons stood on the front steps and lined up. And then we marched on in with Reverend Sims. He was our pastor then. So Reverend Sims was the pastor that was the founder of this church. So we marched in from the front and had the program for the grand opening of this St. Paul Baptist Church. And after that, I think, what did I do? After that, it was a while. Reverend Sims put me on but got me on the deaconess board. Okay. And I enjoyed the deaconess board and doing different things on the deaconess board. And all the older members, I have some old members from the Broad Street, St. Paul, and some of them came here too that were living. And I just enjoyed, all the things we did here when we came in here. And Reverend Sims, had us doing different things for the church. And we give, not this church, I think the old church, yes we did. We sold dinners. I was the committee woman for the dinners that raised money to, I don't know forget what we was paying for, but we was raising money and I was on the committee of selling dinners. So I don't think Reverend Sims liked that, so we cut that out. So we didn't sell any more dinners. And so here we just, worked here. Whatever he wanted us to do here, we did it. And my main thing was just singing on the choir. Oh, I love singing on the choir. And Miss Griffin was our director. And for a little while here, but she was our first director at the old St. Paul on Broad Street. Now, she was Reverend Cole's daughter. So that was more like a family, thing. She played the music, the piano, and Deacon Griffin, he was lead the solos, and we just had a great time. And so, then for a while she came here, and Jean Lacey was our musician too. So I think Jean Lacey was, after Miss Griffin, she was. And Jean Lacey, we had a good time with her singing and all learning new songs. And I thought I could sing and that, we just had a good time. They didn't bother me because I couldn't sing. They wanted me to sing right with them.
That's good.
So then what else we did here? When we came here, what else? We did so much here. I sang on the gospel chorus and the senior choir here. But I'm trying to think, we sold dinners here.
How about friends? Did you meet a lot of friends here?
Oh, yes. Well, all my friends practically was from the older church too. And the deacons, the old deacons, and we call them deaconess back in the day. We'd start saying deacon here. So, but friends, your mom was one of my friends. So God just been good. I thought about that last week. I said, I said, God's been good. I ain't never had to worry about where I'm going to do this or what I'm going to, because it seemed like God always taught me how to do that. And my parents taught me how to do. We were all brought up in church. So I can remember when I was a little girl coming up in church, we had to learn speeches.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't want to forget my speech. I got up there and said the speech so fast until my mother almost got a whooping when I got home for saying it too fast.
Oh, wow.
But we I just came up in the church all my life, been in the church. And to St. Paul is just home to me. A trip to Homestead, was at Homestead when I was at the old St. Paul. Because Reverend Coles was a friend to that preacher in Homestead. And the choirs was invited. So we would sing at different churches for their choir day, like our choir day. And that's how I met a lot of friends too. And, and it just was a really gathering, like a family thing when we went to the other churches. And I got to know those people, they got to know us, and they would come to our choir day. It was a big, big celebration for our choir day. And we just, had church from church to church. Back in the day, we had church to church. As the years went on, then we start just staying at our church mostly. Just with whatever was going on. Other churches would come here, but we mostly start with ourselves, celebrating. We would just talk about our families and, what our families was doing. And, mostly, graduations were from my daughter Joanne, from Peabody High, Lily, Geraldine. I have 3 daughters. Mm-hmm. So we would talk about the children, and then
Did you bring your daughters to St. Paul? Did they come?
From the beginning of Old St. Paul, my whole family, all of us joined St. Paul together. Then we went to 6 Mile Zion. And we joined 6 Mile Zion from St. Paul. Because I moved on Meadow Street. We moved on Meadow Street, and so it was such a hassle to try to get backwards and forward, taking the kids to Sunday school. So we all joined the same church. So then we joined 6 Mile Zion, and from 6 Mile Zion, we came here. All of us joined here at the same time, except Joanne.
I came first.
She came first, you're right. Had to back up. She came first and we came behind her. We all still was going to the same church. Okay. Because it was so hard, some going here and some going there. And we just had a good family fun here, and with the children growing up together and going to Sunday school and everything. So and your mom, Priscilla, was great help to me. And Miss Thompson was a good help to me. Miss Butler, she was a good, and Miss Harris, all of them, we were all good friends. We had a good time. Because we come from an old background from St. Paul, and it was just like God was there at all times. And it just, here, it's the same way, and I'm going to tell you, what's inside, you have to help what's inside you for God to be with you. Because if you don't ask Him to help you, and pray that He will help you, sometimes it may get left out. But I always, I come from Georgia. My mother always took us to church, and we always had to pray before we go to bed. and we always had to bless our food before we ate it. So, you know, and that come up with me, you know, all through my life. And sometime my children, well now, we have to bless our food before we eat it. And we look at, you know, each other, but we know what's coming next to bless them before we eat. Although, like, my daughters have Thanksgiving dinners and Christmas dinners, we do change around. And so we enjoy that, you know, and but to bless the food, and to say the blessing, all that's still with us.